Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly though, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Sleeping Warrior. How are you doing?
You know what?
What?
Shattered.
Chat?
I was in bed last night. I got a notify on my phone, and it said Red Pill Philosophy has gone live, and his title had something with the word debate in it, and it said live debate open panel or something like that. So I was like, really? Thought I'm getting on that. So I literally gets out of bed. I think it was about 2 o'clock, maybe 3 o'clock. Gets out of bed, fires up the Quattro. It gets in my driving seat, buckles up, presses the turbo nitrous button, and zooms on into his hangout. And initially there was just flat earthers that joined, but then a couple of people like on the ball earth side joined, and basically it was like the worst example of ball earthers trying to have a discussion ever, because basically he gets Tommy. Do you remember Tommy from Birmingham?
Yes.
It's over you and over you and over you all the time. You got Tommy from Birmingham, Lewis Hackett, a continuous overspeaker, and PMARS. And I was like, Jesus, I can't do this. I'm not putting up with these three. So I dropped. So I dropped, and I gave my space to Soundly, because I thought I'd rather him go in than me have to sit on the panel with them three idiots. So I was listening in background while I was making a response video to Jose. And basically what happened was it ended up being the worst mess I've ever seen. And it's because it's a combination of factors. Because he's got such a big like live listener subscriber base. He's got 200,000 subs. Obviously the ballers they're going to want to go in there. However, the things that they were saying, they just wouldn't get away with saying on this show. They just wouldn't. For example, when they were asking about how does gas pressure exist next to how does a gas pressure exist next to a vacuum? Basically, Lewis continuously asserted that there is a force holding it down. How do you know how he speaks? It's like, I'm testing what you know about what you think you know. And I'm like, Lewis, there is no force according to your model. The current science for gravity is not an attractive force between masses.
Hello, Frank. How you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to have you.
Thank you. How you guys doing today?
Very well.
So.
I caught the last hour of the Red Pill Philosophy debate. I was actually in it. Didn't get much of a chance to say anything though.
It was really bad. It was bad in the sense.
It was a mess.
It was good in the sense that he had his first hangout and it was successful in terms of numbers.
Absolutely.
But in terms of quantity and quality, it was awful, because basically these ballers would not get away with what they were saying in his show, in his debate here. Now, obviously, right at the very end, in the last 5 minutes, he asks them, why is it you guys don't go in Nathan's anymore? And obviously they said, because he's a bully, because he's a mute button, because of this, because of that. The simple fact is, these guys will not get away with this nonsense rhetoric that they push. And they got away with it with Red Pill Philosophy only because he hasn't learned about obfuscation tactics. And Nathan doesn't allow it. The simple fact is this. You guys need a gravitational force for how your atmosphere sticks to a ball. Your current science doesn't give you an attractive force between masses. It gives you the curvature and the slowing down of space-time in the context of Einstein. There is no force. And Lewis is there dogmatically asserting, and not Kosho, Tommy was sat there holding his willy while he did, and claiming that the guys that were challenging it didn't know what they were talking about, and it was literally the bamboozle, hijacking of the. It's like when you're crossing the bridge and Billy Goat's Gruff jumps out and he attacks you and all that and makes you pay. That's what it was. It was an ambush. So on the one hand, it was successful. On the other hand, it was an absolute shit show, and they would never, ever, ever get away with saying that crap on this show. So when he was asked at the end, why don't you go on Nathan's anymore? Let's correct the record. They can't come in Nathan's because they can't answer the questions that Red Pill allowed them to get away with obfuscating in the show. So I'm not having a go at Red Pill. I'm a supporter. Yeah. However, these ballers are the most dishonest people I have ever seen. You can't claim there's a force attracting there's a mass attracting another mass because of a force anymore. That is not your current science, Lewis. Stop saying it is. And when Jeremy tells people that a vacuum is nothing, how can nothing create a force? It's not the fact that it's nothing. It's the fact that there's a disequilibrium, an imbalance between the pressure against the non-pressure. So it's not that a vacuum creates a force or does something. It's the fact that there's a pressure that's dying to get into the space. And I was sat there listening to it, and I just thought Nathan would just be, honestly, you would have muted everybody and you would have said, no, this is the way it is. How are you going to deal with this specific point? Not obfuscate the rest of the point and make it sound like you're winning just by bullying. Deal with this one specific point first. Then we can move forward logically and progressively. And that couldn't happen because everyone was speaking on top of each other. And literally the ballers won by bullying and presenting their rhetoric nonsense, literally without valid opposition. Not because he wasn't modding, but because they wouldn't get away with it on a channel that is flat earth orientated. Red Pill's not primarily flat earth, is he? Something else, and he's come to it. And that's all well and good. And I'm not criticizing. However,
hold on, Anthony, I'm sorry, I've got to stop you because you. Sorry, just bear with me, Anthony, please. Hello, Arwin. Hello, Chocolate Saying. Hello, Plain Truth.
Hello, guys. What?
Sorry, Anthony, you carry on.
And it's just disgusting. So the ballers got more chance to express their bullshit nonsense, and it's like you wouldn't get away with that on Nathan's, and that's the reason why they don't come in. So what we should do is we should encourage Red Pill to do it the way he did it, to let them all go in and show their nonsense. And then we'll just contrast all their points when they're not coming in and just tell the real audience the problems that Red Pill's allowed them to obfuscate with. And we can just dissect it by proxy because that's what has to happen. You can't have a gas pressure next to a vacuum without a force. But your current science is not a force. It's the bending of space-time. It's the curvature of, what did he call it? The fabric of space-time. It's the slowing down of time. It's utter garbage. Stop asserting you've got a force. You don't. That's not your science. It's out of date. You can't argue Newtonian principles. Okay. But you've got to argue that for how you've got a gas pressure next to a vacuum of space. But you haven't got it in real world. That's not what the physics says, is it? It's your own maths against you, your own science against you. And then Jeremy had the audacity to criticize Red Pill philosophy for being a science denier because the angle of attack, which he claims is all bullshit that's made up, he just refuses to accept that it's actual science. It is observed. It is repeated. It is a thing, in contrast to this curvature nonsense that goes over a radius that does not exist, that cannot be measured, cannot be validated or verified. So to answer your question, I was exhausted by tiredness and also frustrated by the nonsense that these ridiculous, dishonest ballers like Jeremy, Tommy, Lewis Hackett were able to spew their nonsense out to people on a massive scale audience. And I just thought overall it did more damage than it did good because they can't get away with this nonsense in here. I'm done.
Okay, well, I want to give a big shout out to Red Pill Philosophy because this is the same conversation we had at about show 60, show 65. Because what I wanted to demonstrate was precisely what Red Pill demonstrated. So it made me smile quite a lot because it reminded me of the early stages of this show when the same exact thing happened. But it was what I wanted to show. So seeing it happen on Red Pill, I was like, well, that's what they do. And it's good to see it being showed, or shown, I should say. So I enjoyed it. You know, I completely agree with you, but that's kind of something that I wanted to highlight. Now, not through any limitation of your influence, Anthony, but you ultimately said it shouldn't be like this. It shouldn't be left in a position where they can obfuscate. And regardless of my opinion, which was to say, I want to show the audience how they obfuscate, you said, well, no, we're in the minority. So we shouldn't be letting them obfuscate these points and just winning on debating tactics rather than actually having good arguments that are a winning argument. So my tack changed, but, you know, there is still a little place in my heart to want to see that. So I really enjoyed it. Shout out to Red Pill Philosophy.
Yeah, shout out to Red Pill. But yeah, that was crazy. That was a shit show. The Globers are just crazy. They're talking over each other. Like, it was just a hot mess.
Yeah. Let me just be clear. Just in case, I know Red Pill watches. I'm not criticizing what you did
in the chat right now.
The way that they were able to do what they did, because it not only was a shit show, but they're able to. The more times they can say gravity, 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 it's just indoctrination. Well, what we should be saying is evidence, 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 and Einstein, 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 current science, current science, current science. Because they just get away with screaming nonsense from that. It's antiquated science. It doesn't exist anymore, but they still claim it. It's nonsense. Anyway, I'm done. Again.
All right, you're passionate about it, Anthony. I love it.
Riley, I mean, you notice how when they were talking about the vacuum and the force, they try to keep it as to vacuum can't be a force. But when the other guy was trying to bring it back to talking about the pressurized system being next to the vacuum, they didn't want to talk about that. Let's just keep going back to the vacuum is not a force. It's not a force. It's, it's laughable.
What it is.
They're also
we're hardened criminals now to all these tactics that they use, where they're even allowed to talk about it before they address how they can have a container, how they can have it without a container. Obviously, if you're not familiar about that particular point, it's just going to be allowed, isn't it? And it's not that, like I say, I'm not criticizing Red Pill. However, criticizing the ballers for dishonestly pushing that point, knowing that there's an issue there with the requirements for a container. Because you, like Conspiracy Cat says, without the balloon, there is no pressure. Right, that's the starting point. Where's the pressure come from? Can't have it. Gravity. It's not an attractive force between masses anymore, guys. That's antiquated science. Are you all science deniers and you push it anyway? You shouldn't be pushing that ballers if you know it's out of date, but you push it anyway, don't you? Liars, little scumbags.
It's funny how they call us science deniers, right? But whenever you quote Brian Cox or Neil deGrasse Tyson, they're the first ones to say, oh, but they're wrong. They're wrong.
And to me, correct me if I'm wrong here, guys, but it seemed like they were messing up their terms a lot. Like they kept saying vacuum can't be a force because a vacuum is nothing. Well, yeah, like a theoretical vacuum is nothing, but there's all the different magnitudes of vacuum in between, you know, a high pressure system and nothing, and kind of like absolute zero. A true vacuum is kind of more on the theoretical side. And even what NASA says deep space is, there's still some particles. It's just an extremely low pressure. So it's not really the vacuum itself isn't a force, but it's the force of the particles in the higher pressure system moving to the lower pressure system.
Oh, entropy. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that thing.
Yep. They didn't want to talk about that. Can't.
That's always it, isn't it? If you don't actually talk about the things that matter, you can just go around it and then speculate about everything in every way conceivable, because they'll never find the answer anyway. So it's just a playground to them. They're just technically postponing their actual homework, and they just keep on playing with their damn space Legos.
I got really
just like I did 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
They didn't. It was really, really hard to get a word in. It was almost impossible. But when they were talking about, they had some pictures up, and this item, they had a lighthouse that was obstructed from the bottom up, and I didn't even get the chance to ask them. But once you ask them the question, how do you go from obstruction to Earth curve? Like that's such a huge jump.
And they have nothing for that jump. All they have is the obstruction. They don't have anything else out there.
Oh, no. They do have something. They do have something.
Faith.
No. They've got something very specific. Very specific thing. What is it? Let's ask the whole panel. What links obstruction to Earth curve? What's the tool used to link the two?
The assumption
Magical
of
R. Affirming the consequence. Magical
correct.
R.
The R value. There you go.
And that's where I wanted to obviously take the conversation, but it's impossible to get a word in with those guys.
Look, in the end, all Globers are just a bunch of pirates.
Arg, baby.
Mm.
Yeah, it was pretty sad.
On a quick side note, Nathan, do you know how hard it is to try to find the Flat Earth Debate YouTube channel?
I do. I mean, I do give out the link to it, but it's an old business channel that's just been reappropriated temporarily. So I had some news from YouTube today in terms of when I can finally, halve my workload, or hopefully even get back to normal, which is about a quarter of the workload that I currently have. So hopefully middle of this month, so middle of February, about 15th, I should be able to start streaming again on the second channel, which is basically sort of back to normal. And then middle of March, I'll be back in the main channel, which is back to normal. But at the moment, I don't actually want to promote this channel very much. So people in the chat right now can probably tell I'm not saying share the show, share the show. What I do is go into the bigger channel with a bigger audience when it's rebroadcast an hour later. So if you're watching this now, a Nathan Oakley 1980 member of the audience, this is an hour old. So this was recorded an hour ago on a very small channel that hardly anybody subscribed to, intentionally. So 10, 12 days from now, this channel won't get used at all. So there's not a great deal of point in promoting it just for a temporary measure, which is all it's being used for. It's just a temporary channel if I suffer on the other channels, which does happen every so often. But this is a backup for the backup, if you want to call it that way. But no, I don't want to promote it. As much as this may sound mercenary, it's not a commercial channel. It doesn't have a super chat. It doesn't make me anything. So as frustrating as that is, it's just extra work to get the show actually recorded on this channel to put it out where it needs to be on the main channel. So yeah, hardly anybody knows where this is. Long may that continue.
Any news on your main channel?
The main channel is always going to be in the same position. So the main channel suffered a community guideline strike before all the bogus copyright strikes came in. So that was always going to be the case. That when this happened, I was already on the second channel, if you remember, and mirroring it onto the main channel afterwards immediately, which, yes, it increased the workload quite a lot, but not anywhere near as much as it is now. Literally, I don't get a minute to myself at the moment. And I've got people in the background doing work for me saying, can you give me this information so I can do the work for you? And I literally haven't even got time to assist them. Ranty's the same. He's been pestering me about Patreon. That's an opportunity. So check out my Patreon. Here you go. Ranty talked me into doing it. There it is. There you go. That's a big enough plug. But yeah, I just didn't have the time to give him. So when it came to Patricia cancelling the show on Thursday, I was like, okay, that means I've actually got time that I didn't think I had. And had it have not been for that, I'd have gone to bed at 2 a.m, having had an entirely chock-a-block day. But I think if I promote this channel, Flat Earth Debate channel that is, it'll just mean I've got to start moderating the comments and monitoring the channel, and I just can't be bothered. It's just too much work. It's great that I can actually stream, delighted that I can do that, but as soon as this show finishes, it just gets turned off, so it disappears. The only show that's on there is a really old show, just so people, if they do want to specifically watch live, they can navigate their way to that one debate that I've left on there, so they know they're in the right place. But yeah, like I say, 10 days time-ish, this channel won't even be, won't even be useful to me anymore, unless it happens again. But we do have an audience. Don't know how many people. Let's have a look. How many is
85 watching. Not bad.
Yeah, 80 people watching. So, it's not the 200 plus people you get in the main channel, but not a bad audience considering this channel's not advertised. Yeah, if you type in Flat Earth Debate, you're not going to find your way to this channel. So what you'll get is ABC, BBC, Vice Media. That's what will come up if you type in Flat Earth Debate. That said, you will find your way to a Flat Earth Debate. So I've checked on several computers that aren't mine, in other words, not cookied up with all of my searches. And you do find your way to a Flat Earth Debate when you search in YouTube. So as much as I'm in the chat of these channels saying, look, we are being censored, well, that's a fact. YouTube are censoring us. Doesn't change the fact that the debate still appears. So I don't know if the debate happens to fall outside of that censorship because it's obviously a debate. But ultimately, if you type in Flat Earth or Flat Earth Debate, you will come across one of these shows pretty quickly.
Well, in either case, I want to give Red Pill props for doing what he did.
Yeah, he was a champ. He was a champ last night, just sitting there. At one point, he had like 5 ballers just all yelling at him, and he was just sitting there.
Just sitting there laughing like, yeah, go
Yeah,
tards.
it was pretty funny.
Nothing like being
But
yelled at by a
it's
load
like
of fundamentalists.
it's like even if they had like good points to come across, like they couldn't even lay them across properly. I mean, you got Tommy who just I don't know what the hell's wrong with that guy. Just can't speak, right? Doesn't know how to carry a conversation, and then I don't know. Everybody's just talking over each other. It's like, guys, get any ideas across to people. If you're trying to convince people that this flat Earth thing is just so stupid, but all you did was make yourselves look stupid.
So YouTube
All right,
says,
enjoy that.
says Nathan, but you do care about getting the truth out there and not just about making money. It's surely not about, or not only about making money, it's about getting the truth out there. Yeah, well, I've picked this topic, Ute, so I could have picked anything. I've been on YouTube for 10 years and I've covered various different topics. I'm only going to do what I like doing. So obviously I like this topic. But first and foremost, whether or not you like it, I would consider myself a YouTuber. That would be what I'm trying to achieve. The topic is obviously of critical importance because if it's not interesting, I'm not going to want to do it. I'm not going to want to dedicate day after day after day to a subject I dislike. Far from it. In fact, I had this conversation with Arwin the other day. I was like, are you sure you like this subject? And Jaren says this all the time. If I was just here for the money, I'd cover the ball because that's getting promoted to all hell by YouTube.
My goodness. Just do what the Psyman does. My goodness.
Like Simon Dan, exactly. I'd just go, well, that's obviously far more profitable than this, right? Well, no.
It's not even close.
Yeah, so it's not just about making money, but by the same token, I've got to eat and pay bills.
Right.
That's why Patreon's there now, and as much as I was reluctant, now that I've got a Patreon, I'm really pleased. You know, it's like, wow, someone's actually, come and become a Patreon to support me. And I put it in the description box. I was like, look, this Patreon's being set up in case I get screwed on YouTube, because I don't want to leave making Flat Earth debate videos purely because I'm not making any money and just have to do other things so I can survive. I don't want that to be the position. So as much as I don't want to be asking people for yet another different method of asking for money, because it's criticised heavily and I don't want to be criticised as that person. On the other hand, I do feel justified and I do need that money. So tough shit. Hey Chris, how you doing?
And the other thing about
hello.
What's going on? The other thing about covering like a variety of topics is, I don't know if it was the same for you guys, but I used to be into researching all types of different topics, and as soon as I stumbled over this, everything else became so far less interesting. This is all I can research now.
Oh, I totally agree. It's for me, it's the biggest deception mankind has ever endured. The heliocentric deception is a massive, enormous lie, and that to me is absolutely fascinating. Before this, yes, I did touch on some, maybe not call them conspiratorial subjects, but things like subliminal messaging and psychopathy. And yeah, I dabble in them occasionally now, once every so often. But is it anywhere near as interesting as this subject? No. World of possibility opens up when you find out that you've been lied to about the shape of the Earth. You're no longer a spinning ball flying through an infinite vacuum. Well, what are we? I don't know. Well, isn't that interesting? Isn't that a lot more exciting than the scene in The Truman Show where the teacher pulls the map down and goes, it's all been discovered. There's nothing else to look at. Well, everything's up for grabs now. Everything's can be rediscovered. Fantastic. That's very exciting. For some people, it's very troubling. Having an answer to every single question is important to some people. For me, not having an answer is much more important. Much more exciting.
Hey, Nathan.
Hello.
Hey. I just want to say something real quick. The Lobtards exposed themselves last night because many times I've heard these people say, they're like, oh, I won't debate Nathan Oakley because he's mean and he bullies people and he talks over people and he mutes people. And yet they gang up on little old me, 7 versus 1, and they call you a bully. Like, it's so transparent, the fake victimhood that these guys use. to get away with not having real fucking debates and discussions on this topic. So I just wanted to say that real quick.
No swearing.
It's only in anger. I don't mind if people swear. It's only in the middle of a debate when they, which I do all the time. I'm a total hypocrite.
Sorry, I forgot.
Shout out to Red Pill Philosophy, Denying Perspective. Thank you.
Shut up, Jose.
So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, Chris. It was the same at the beginning of the debate. It would sometimes start with me and end up with me against 9 ballers. That's how it would be.
Fucking crazy stuff.
I remember that.
You might not. I do.
Anyways, that's all I wanted to say, guys. I got some stuff to do, but I'll talk to you guys later.
See you later. Kudos.
Have a good one, man.
Bye bye.
Later, Chris.
Big shout out to Red Pill Philosophy.
Jose, you got some curvature for us, man?
What's up? No, I'm a placeholder today. Thank you.
No, you're not.
I don't know if you'll get away with that status anymore, Jose.
like back in the beginning of times, just a placeholder. I'm a friendly.
Well, we still got to do housekeeping, right? So you got answers for those?
We'll do it on the next show,
really.
Chocolate.
I got a question for Sleeping Warrior. How about the Lighthouse Sleeping Warrior?
AFK at the moment. Hello, Yeet Dab. Can you hear us? Hello, Yeet Dab. Bye-bye.
Oh.
Excuse me.
Shout out to legendary super looming hijacking hyena for making me this new awesome logo. I like it a lot. Thank you.
So what's the score with you these days, Jose? What's your question about lighthouses? What's that about? I know Anthony's not here at the moment.
No, Riley did a video. I was scrolling to my subscriptions and I see Riley put a video calling me out about the lighthouse, saying he debunked my lighthouse observations. It's interesting, you know. So I saw the video and I appreciate it, and I did a little answer video for him, just showing a little more data. He didn't debunk anything. He was just asking for, I don't know, data. He just ignored what I presented, and I presented more new footage and data on my little rebuttal of the video.
Can we see it?
Hello,
yeah,
if you want to play it, it's like
Jose.
it's long.
Hold on
it's
one
like
second.
30
Sorry.
minutes.
Hi, Nothing. Can you hear us? Being trolled, I think.
Hey, Jose. Let me ask you a favor.
Yeah.
So I just put up a video of my observations off the California coast with a particular oil rig, and I don't make any commentary. Oh, you saw the oil rig?
Yes.
Commentary? I mean, the one that I just put it up yesterday, so it's like brand new.
I saw it last night, yeah, in the middle of the night in my lunchtime.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I was just going to say I'd be curious to hear. You don't have to give an explanation now, but I'd be curious to hear any feedback as to what you think.
Really
is
cool,
going
really
on.
cool observations. Yeah, well, a lot of optical effects going on in that band of refraction and disappearing and merging and dancing around. Really cool observation. I like those.
Fraction limit.
Yeah, that's why I got a lot of those observations, but I'm trying to go out more on the clear days where I cannot see any of those effects. It might be a little bit there of the effects because there always is. But the last few observations, lighthouse and the bridge, was super crystal clear, and yeah, just to me is the nail in the coffin, you know.
Okay, well, so then let me just ask, since we're on this topic then, if you remember the very first image I show, the entire body of the oil rig is gone. And the only thing that you can see is what looks like the antenna of an insect coming up over the horizon. And then I just simply show that same location from my same elevation at numerous other times, and you can see the entire oil rig not only compressed, but also stretched out to where it actually looks like an AT-AT, you know, crawling across the horizon. So, I mean, when you have something like that to hold up next to your lighthouse observation, I think that you have to hold both of those things next to each other and evaluate them in the same way. So I'm going to repeat my critique of your lighthouse and say that it's not curvature, it's distortion, it's compression. So, but like I said, I'd be willing to hear your critique. I'm asking you to make comments and give me your thoughts as to what exactly is going on with what I provide for the last video I put out, which is on the Plain Truth, by the way.
Yeah, anybody go check on the Plain Truth channel. He got some really cool observations. I gotta watch it again because I saw it like scrolling it down in 1.5 times just to see it. But I will pay more attention later and just think about it and talk to you when I see it really well, detailed.
So what was the extra data then, Jose?
I had in a different, like on the 27-mile observation, 20 plus mile on the 17 miles to the lighthouse, I got this little bit of the lighthouse sticking up with two stripes. And before in the other spot that I catch it, I can catch the same lighthouse at a little under 5 miles away. And I can see the whole lighthouse. I mean, I can see half of it, and then the bottom half is blocked by the trees. But if if you eliminate the trees, you can see the whole lighthouse. I mean, you can add the stripes, and it will add up as a complete scale lighthouse. In the 17 miles, if you take the little band of trees out, you cannot add all the stripes missing in that little band on the bottom.
Okay.
You see compressed, but it's too much missing to be compressed in that little bottom section.
So what's your conclusion then?
There you go. My conclusion is it cannot be explained by decompression. So if you're gonna like this because it's the same answer, and I know we're gonna go to this route, but it has to be curvature.
Sorry, just asserting that it has to be isn't really making a conclusion that links to your observation. So how do you link the two together?
That's quite a leap.
I think I can answer with a question. What else can it be?
It could be a limitation of the angle combined with an obstruction in the near foreground due to perspective.
No.
Hello, Bash prompt.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. Hello, Bash, can you hear us? Hello? Need to say hello if you're going to join. I'm going to kick you out if you don't say anything.
Yeah, I answered no. You know what? I say maybe. Yeah, maybe, but I haven't seen it. I haven't seen this observation done in this particular way.
Yeah, but who cares? You haven't linked the observation to Earth curve yet. So it doesn't matter about the comparable observations until I get some sort of link between you seeing the bottom of a building missing and Earth curve. There's no connections thus far, so it doesn't mean anything yet, Jose.
Yeah, can I jump in real quick? Because I'm just going to repeat my critique for Jose again. Simply saying that it can't be distortion or compression doesn't make it so either. So I'm going to ask you again to provide documentation of your working through your observation and eliminating scientifically the variable that you are simply dismissing. I mean, you can't just simply dismiss it, Jose. We're not going to let you. We love you too much, Jose. We love you.
Oh, I love you all, guys. But the same thing, I think you are just not accepting the footage, not accepting the no explanation, not just accepting reality, because I just don't see it working on a flat Earth.
Sorry,
with the reality,
angle.
we're not accepting the reality that was given to us.
Sorry to interrupt. Jose, not accepting what? I accept that you have a picture of a building with a couple of stripes missing. Okay, I accept that. Because you've got a picture of it. So what?
So you provide me with an explanation, very convoluted explanation that cannot be. It cannot be. I don't know. It cannot happen. It just is impossible.
Jose, Jose,
Why? How is it convoluted?
Wait, Jose. It can't just be a lighthouse that's obstructed because it's very far away. Where do you get that it's curved? How do you get from you can't see the bottom of it to it's curving away from us, and that's the reason we can't see the bottom. How do you get to that point?
Well, perspective and diffraction. I heard a good explanation. I don't know who it was. I think in the red pill.
Sorry, bear with me, Jose. Sorry, just 1 second. Is anybody watching the back chat?
Yes, I am.
Thank you, Owen. Sorry, Jose.
We need.
So I'll do a really quick analogy on the diffraction limit. when you are doing an eye test, you got this little pyramid with the big letters in the top and the very tiny letters in the bottom. You can read the letters in the top, and you can read all the letters, and then the bottom, you just see a blur spot in the bottom. But you see it, you just see a blur spot. That's the diffraction limit. Let's scale that really big pyramid of letters and put it really far away. Zoom in with a camera, the same thing is going to happen. You're going to be able to discern what's in the top with all the details, and then the bottom is going to be just a blur spot. You're still going to see it. It's there. It's not going to be disappearing from the bottom. It does not happen. That's diffraction.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Do you want me to explain why? Jose?
Explain why.
Okay, excellent. So, you are about 6 foot tall, correct?
Yeah.
Give or take, roughly. So, as you look at you standing in the distance, let's say you're half a mile away. Let's not worry about the actual figures used and their validity or accuracy. It's not relevant to the point. But let's say at half a mile, we can look at you at a P900 and see you, and you represent 5 pixels in the camera. You with me so far?
I'm following you.
Okay. So now let's push you out to 2 miles. Now you're 1 pixel in the camera. You with me?
Yep.
Now we're going to push you out to 10 miles. Now you're no pixels in the camera. You with me?
Yep.
Oh, so we can't see stuff forever then? You've just asserted that we should see the stuff forever. Well, let's now change
No.
you. You understand that you would disappear eventually. Right, Jose?
Yes, I understand.
Right. Now let's do it with a wall. So we've got a 6 foot wall, and we're going to look at it at the same distance. So we're going to look at a 6 foot wall at half a mile, and we can see it's 5 pixels. Okay?
Yep.
Now we're going to look at it at 10 miles, and it's no pixels. It's gone. Okay? Need an agreement.
Yeah,
Jose.
I'm following. Yeah, go ahead.
So at 10 miles, a 6 foot wall is too small to see. The angle to the 6 foot wall is too small. You agree?
Yes.
Now, if I build a 100-story building on top of that 6 foot wall, Jose, do you think we'll be able to see that at 10 miles? 100-story building, 10 miles. What do you reckon, Jose? Can we see it?
Yeah, you're gonna see it. You're gonna see
Okay,
the
no worries.
100
Just need a
all
quick
blurry.
concession as we go. I'm not quite there. Just need you to follow along and agree. So, at 10 miles, the 6 foot wall at the bottom of the building can't be seen, but the 100 stories I've built on top of it can be seen. So the bottom 6 foot is gone, and the top 100 stories is visible, effectively meaning the bottom 6 foot has disappeared, Jose. Contrary to what you just asserted, we should be able to zoom in and see it. Apart from the fact that the bottom angle is still too small, Jose.
Okay, now let's try to make the top 6 foot of that. I got 6 foot tall disappear. The bottom, let's say 1 floor, 1 story of the building is disappeared at 10 miles
Oh, like
away.
your lighthouse then.
Okay, go ahead.
Like your lighthouse, right? The bottom bit's gone. So we do definitely have an explanation for why stuff disappears from the bottom into the distance then, Jose. Would you agree?
Yeah, I
Or
was getting there. No.
So you don't agree? So you think because I
No, I'm
build
trying to
a
explain
100-story building on top of a 6 foot wall that's disappeared, suddenly the 6 foot at the bottom comes back? Is that what you think?
No, if you give me a minute, I'll try to explain it.
Go ahead.
So the 6 foot wall disappeared around, let's say, roughly 10 miles away. And I build another 6 foot wall on top of those. I need another 10 miles, so I need 20 miles to make 12 foot disappear. If I want to build another 6 foot wall, I'm going to need 30 miles to disappear. At 30 miles, I'm not going to be able to see any of the probably 50 foot in the floor. So it doesn't add up. The mathematics doesn't add up.
As I said at the beginning,
It
Jose.
does. It exactly does.
Sorry,
The
Alwyn, I
further away
didn't
you
need
go,
help.
the
I just
more it's
needed to
cut
get to
off,
my
but
my
it's-
example. Thank you. So, Jose, so you're saying that based on your example, which is the same as mine, other than you saying the maths, which I said is irrelevant, the numbers aren't relevant to the example, you're now saying the maths, we must make them relevant. even though you've actually comprehended that 6 foot of the bottom of a building can indeed disappear bottom first, contrary to your assertion when you asked what else could it be? Well, it could be the distance and angular size, as I first asserted, Jose. Are you still denying this?
You need two further of a distance to make this big amount on the bottom disappear.
Sorry, Jose, let's just get the concession. Can stuff disappear due to a limited angle or not?
It disappear in the very, very, very far away distance, yes.
Oh, right. So 20 miles isn't very, very far away. Can I see 20 miles with my naked eye?
No, you need a camera.
So it's pretty far then, wouldn't you agree, Jose? So we've got something that's very far away, that's disappeared from bottom first, and I've given you a very concise and clear explanation for how that could happen due to a limited angle. Do you still want to assert that it's only possible with Earth curve, or not?
The amount that is missing...
Not the amount.
Yeah.
Let's just not worry about the amount, Jose. Let's just get to the concession where you say, yes, Nathan, stuff can disappear bottom first, regardless of whether or not there's any Earth curve that I presuppose. That's what I need you to concede, Jose, because that's fact what is happening, and you've demonstrated it yourself with your phone. So why you are denying this, I don't know, but as I've just led you by the hand to the example with the 6 foot wall at 10 miles that disappears, when you build on top of it, it doesn't come back. The building's disappeared from bottom first, something you said could only be possible because of Earth curve. Wrong, Jose. Very wrong. The angle,
I can agree, a very tiny amount would disappear.
Let's not worry about how much. Yeah. Let's not worry about how much.
Jump in real quick?
Jose, the amount that's disappearing due to the angle is entirely ignored when you assert that it's Earth curve. Do you appreciate that your concession flies in the face of the calculator that works out how much or much should not be seen or should be seen when you're on a globe? So you quantifying the amount... Hello, Wiggles.
Hello.
You quantifying the amount doesn't change the fact that A, it can happen, and B, that effect is not accounted for in the globe mathematics.
Nathan, can I jump on real quick? Because I have to
hold
board
on
my
really
plane.
quick.
Just let me just get... Hold on, why can't I just hear a concession from Jose? I've took him through it. It's taken me 5 minutes. Stuff does disappear from the bottom up, Jose, due to a limitation of the angle. It's ignored in the calculations when you want to assert how much or much should not or should be missing.
I appreciate you're the one that brought the calculation. You were telling me this amount and this
I said no.
You're the one that brought the math, not me.
No. I said the
I
distances didn't matter. No, Jose, that's a straw man. Don't misrepresent what I say. I made it very clear. The numbers don't matter. All that matters is that you concede that you can have things disappearing bottom first because of an angular limitation. The numbers are irrelevant. Your numbers will ignore this. So let's not worry about numbers. Let's just worry about the fact stuff can disappear bottom first due to a limitation in angle, and the fact that that effect is ignored when you assert it's a sphere causing this.
Okay, I have to join.
The facts without the math and the numbers, we gotta say a tiny bit disappear or a lot disappear. That's
Okay,
what you
I have
mean.
Yeah, because hold on. Why is everyone talking over me? Shut up and just let me get Jose to this concession. For the love of God, the rest of the panel, what is your malfunction? Jose, so your maths ignores the angular relationship that can make stuff disappear from the bottom. Why would I concern myself with the maths that you're going to do if it ignores this very real fact?
I didn't want to bring math. You're the one that brought the math first. And then
I'll say it again, Jose, don't lie. Did I or did I not say the maths is irrelevant? It's the concept that's important. Did I not say, let's ignore the maths and validity and numbers and distances?
I missed that, yeah, true.
Right, so we're not talking about the maths. You are. Don't misrepresent and project what you want to do. You want to say how much should or shouldn't be missing based on numbers, not me. The fact that it can disappear bottom first is the bit I want you to concede.
Yeah, the concept is about how much is missing, a little bit or a lot.
No, yours doesn't account for this. Your maths for the globe ignores this. So how much is limited by the angle is ignored.
I'm not talking math about a tiny bit disappear or a lot disappearing, more than half of the lighthouse. That's what I'm talking about.
I say that's due to. I say all of it. Okay, Jose, all of it's due to a limited angle and I can demonstrate it, as have you. So what are you going to assert that it is? Maths? Curve? Model?
Yeah, all of the above.
Right. Well, so you are going to use maths and I don't need to then. So you are projecting what you're doing onto me then, Jose.
Okay, thank you.
Not thank you. I'm not using maths twice. I've had to stop you mid-sentence because you're misrepresenting what I've said. I've demonstrated a concept. No maths required. You're now wanting to go to the maths that will ignore the concept I've explained without conceding. There is another explanation and it is ignored when you assert the Earth's a sphere. Angle.
I'm picturing this concept, Nathan. I promise I'm trying to picture it, and it doesn't add up the amount that is missing.
We're back to the maths again, Jose. How many times are you going to misrepresent me? How many times are you going to do this? It's not about the maths, Jose. The maths is irrelevant if you don't account for it. Sorry, take me to the maths for the angular size in the globe. Show me that.
No, I know perspective.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
Okay, go ahead.
It doesn't exist. The maths for what I am describing in your world of sphericity does not exist. So why are we concerning ourselves with it?
I'm not bringing math to the table. I'm saying a little bit or a lot. That's what I'm saying.
That's
I'm
maths.
not saying math.
That's maths.
A lot is not math.
That's maths. A little bit or a lot is a quantification using maths. Hello? That's maths. Why are you simultaneously saying you don't want to use maths and then saying you want to quantify how much or how little? That's maths.
Yeah, we gotta nail this down to the details. I don't want to say disappear from the bottom up and period. I want to say how much is disappearing. Just a tiny bit or a lot. That's it. It's math for you. Okay. No.
Because of
how
what?
much is math, right?
Because
Jose?
of what?
How much?
So you want to apply the maths because of what, Jose? Earth curve, the assumption of radius, maths. Right, Jose?
No.
Yes! That's what you want to do, and you keep telling me I don't want to look at the maths and then going straight to the maths.
I'm visualizing the concept, graphic in my brain, how this angle works. And I should be missing a little bit in the bottom. And then the further away, I miss a little bit more. And then really far away, I cannot see that far away. You say we
how
cannot
do you know?
see infinite.
Why
So
do you
it
keep
doesn't
saying
work.
it's a little bit? Why is it a little bit? How the hell would you know how much or how little? You have no mathematics for this on the globe. None. So why are you trying to quantify an effect that's ignored?
Oh, I'm not. I'm just working a concept in my mind.
What concept? The concept of Earth curve when ignoring all aspects of angular relationships? Is that the concept you're working
I'm
with?
trying to add the stuff disappear from the bottom up in a flat surface. I'm adding this up in the concept in my mind. It just doesn't add up with this lighthouse observation of mine.
It does. I've taken you through it. I'll take you through it again if you don't understand. Let's take... How many
Play the
feet of
video.
your lighthouse is it, Jose? What, 10 feet? 20 feet?
I'm sorry, but I missed that question.
How much is missing?
A lot, more than half.
Give it me in feet.
Oh, you now you're asking me to do math. Okay, I don't want to do
You're
it.
the one
but if you
making
ask
this
me, I'll
claim,
do math.
Jose. So what, you're not going to tell me how much is missing?
Well, it's 100.
Oh, we're getting sniped. So, toes to the fire means snipe out the guest that's having his ass handed to him, does it? Maybe not.
Sorry, cold
It's
drop.
okay, I was blaming snipers, it's obviously not.
150 foot tall, roughly lighthouse, and it's missing at least 80 foot.
80 feet. So, do you know the angular size of 80 feet at 20 miles?
Nope,
Why not?
because I'm not a mathematician.
Sorry, I've just explained
I
to
can tell you that if you want.
Yeah. I'm explaining to you that the angle can cause things to disappear. I explained with a 6-foot wall that disappears at a given distance. If you build on top of it, you won't see the bottom 6 foot just because you've built on top of it. So yeah, stuff does disappear due to angular limitation. And I'm asking you if you've considered the angular size of the section that's missing.
I have seen things 5 miles away, and I see it down to the bottom. So the 6 foot tall is not going to disappear for at least 10 miles. If I want to miss
how do you
80
know
foot,
this? How
I'm
do
going to
you
need
know?
at least,
How
I don't
do
know,
you
100
know
miles.
that? Why you just keep making assertions? Have you just decided the angular size and its relationship to the aperture on your camera and where it will disappear? Or have you actually calculated the angular size and at what point that angular size will vanish?
I don't have to calculate. It's logical reasoning. You can see it, and you can know what it is, what is happening in the footage. The footage is there. I don't need math to
Yeah,
explain
okay.
it.
What's happening is the bottom's obscured. We all know, Jose, what's happening. You're saying it's Earth curve, and the maths to do that ignores the angular relationship. I'm saying an angular relationship can cause things to disappear. You've conceded it. You push a 6-foot wall out. Eventually it disappears because it's too small. You build on top of it, and the stuff above is visible. Bottom first obstruction. According to you, that's Earth curve. How do you get to Earth curve? You don't want to talk about the maths. Right, Jose?
Perspective is real, Nathan.
Yeah, no shit, that's my point. It's ignored in the curve maths.
No, but not in my eyes and the way I see it. I visualize it.
And you
gotta
see
visualize
obstruction.
perspective, Nathan.
Sorry.
So why do you rely on things that do it?
You see obstruction, Jose, not Earth curve. So when we get from the obstruction to the Earth curve, you need the maths, the thing you keep saying you don't want to use. So what, you're just going to tell us that it's Earth curve and just expect us to accept that?
No, I want you to explain perspective. How does perspective work for me?
I've explained it
Because I got
3 times. Are you deaf, Jose? Things get
explain
smaller
perspective?
as
Give
you
me a
get
minute, I'll
further away
explain it.
from them. Eventually they disappear due to a limitation of their angle. That's perspective. And I'll say it for the 4th time, ignored entirely when you assert that R is causing this.
But perspective, it's an explanation, which is not that one. I can explain it for you. Perspective, the objects get far away, they appear to get smaller to your eyes. And everything then appears, the sky appears to go down, the floor appears to ramp up. That's Arwin's slant. There you go. The slant, everything along in the slant, go with it. And then everything appears to go smaller uniformly in the distance and converging to a point until it disappears with the distance. Uniformly, Nathan.
You're forgetting one aspect, though. As it moves further beyond that slant point, it also gets cut off by the miraging zone.
There's no miraging in my observations. Crystal, crispy clear.
Are you serious?
Hey, Renty.
Yes.
What about all your footage?
I've sent you an image on Skype, Nate.
I'm talking about the last few videos. So the lighthouse, the bridge, crispy clear. No mirage. That's what I'm choosing really clear days for my new observations.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't share Skype, Renty, so if you can join and actually present it on the panel, that'd be really great. Hopefully Ranty heard that.
So, Jose?
Yeah.
So, you...
Howdy.
Hey, Ranty.
Hey.
What's up, Ranty?
Hey, it's all good, all good.
So, when you say that you're trying to picture it in your mind, right? So, what you're trying to picture in your mind is the curvature.
No, I'm trying to picture perspective, reality, just perspective on a flat surface, on a flat plane. I draw. I know how perspective works. I'm trying to figure it out, diagram it. I draw it, a lot of drawings. That's why it just doesn't make sense.
Hold on, that's paper perspective. That's like a trick that makes it look like perspective. That's not actually perspective.
Right.
What you get taught in school. I got it taught in school many times. That's not actually perspective. It just helps you make it kind of look like that.
Now I got a question. When we see, let's say, red pill philosophy observation of the lighthouse, which was awesome, you can see down to the cars on the bridge. We see it because it's there. Nothing is missing at what, 17 miles away? But then when I don't see half, when I see half obstructed in a very clear day like that one, then it's not we see it because it's there. It's just a totally convoluted, compressing angle of view, refraction, diffraction explanation, right? I mean, isn't the same breath you got you got total opposites. I don't understand.
No,
this.
yeah, but that's because of the miraging zone. The miraging zone doesn't
No
always
miraging
have
zone
the
in my
same
clear
effects.
observations, bro.
The only thing that it does have is effects.
But
Just not
Jose, you don't see how they just manipulate this ridiculous curve calculator, man. If something is missing, you guys who likes to use this fucking curvature calculator because it tells you curvature. It's right there in the name, right? That's the only way you guys find out this curvature, right? Because we don't see that in real life. There's no curvature there. So think from the bottom up, and you can't explain that. So now you have to use this calculator that assumes R and does all this bullshit when you know that's bullshit. It's not curvature. It's not showing you curvature.
But when I see a long distance observation and I see it all, it's there. But then when I do the same distance observation and I'm missing half of it, it's not there. So what is going on? What is going on in flat Earth?
Can you see my screen, Jose?
Yes, it's presented.
Let me click your icon here.
Yeah, can you show me where the hump is? The hump, you know, where the curvature starts? Because obviously we've got
too
two
much optical effects there. Yeah.
Yeah. We got two boats. You see, this is boat number 1 in the foreground, the white one, and behind it we have a big tanker boat number 2, which is behind. We have an inferior mirage on both, which is in your model. It's where the hump is. The problem is we have 2 areas of inferior mirage. So one here, which is substantially higher than this one here. So in this particular image, what we're actually seeing, if we was to believe it was Earth curve, we're actually seeing 2 humps or 2 curvatures of Earth, which clearly isn't the case. So can you tell me which one is the Earth curve, please? Thank you.
None. I cannot tell in that one because this footage that you take, like this one you're presenting, is really good to explain the optical phenomena and atmospheric effects. Nothing to do with the curve on this one.
So you're saying that there's blockage, but it's not curvature?
In this one, you can see there's just optical effects going on. Nothing to do with curvature in this one.
Right.
Choose a clear day. Choose a clear observation.
Curvature. So not all curvature. Not all blockage is curvature. Then let's just
agreed. Oh, agreed. Yeah, of course.
Oh, so it's possible your lighthouse isn't being blocked by Earth curve then? Could be a different effect, like the ones we've explained.
It could be, but there's none of these effects going on in my lighthouse.
Then why on Earth would we be using it as a proof of anything?
Sorry, you said there's none of those effects. I'm sure I heard you say that it was compressed. Did you not say that?
Did I say it was compressed? I say if it's compressed, this is a shitload of compression that I haven't seen that. No, I seen the Stena Line, I seen the Reptile Philosophy buildings, I seen a few, but not in that amount.
It's too much compression for you to believe. That's what you're saying?
Exactly. I don't want to
can't believe what you're seeing.
If you want to believe it, it's on you.
I'm not the one believing shit, bro. You're the one believing shit. You're the one that's believing.
No, I don't want to believe this. Compression is going to block half of the
You're the one believing in curve, bro. That's you. That's not me. Sorry.
Okay, so you say that you can't believe there's so much compression going on. I have 2 images here of the Stena Line. You've seen these many a time, and obviously we know that everything underneath this part where my cursor is, everything down to the hull is being compressed, and everything out of it is not. So evidenced here, along here. But this shitload of compression that you're talking about here is at least 3 times. So there's 3 times the compression to the actual size of the boat. How much did you say was missing on your lighthouse, Jose?
A little more than half of the lighthouse.
And that's 151 feet. So your compression would have to be 2 to 1 to make it disappear. Here we're evidencing 3 to 1 compression on the Stena Line.
Yeah, I guess.
Could you see how if the Stena Line on the top image, Jose, had maybe, I don't know, something in the foreground, potentially smaller, it could block all of this boat. And it would appear, because the bottom's very compressed, like it's hiding more of the boat because the top section stayed in proportion.
Yes.
Right, so could it be the case that the bottom section of the lighthouse has become compressed and is then obscured by something like a, I don't know, wave in the near foreground? Is that a possibility?
Not a wave, no.
The waves move.
There's no waves in your pictures.
No, they're trees, I believe, and houses. So
Yeah, trees and houses.
they would still be in the way, though, wouldn't they?
Yeah, trees and houses are about 10 to 12 miles away, and then you add another 5 miles to the lighthouse. No, something like that, yeah.
Cool. So concession that essentially, something in the foreground can block something out, and that the compression evidenced here, 3-1, is more than enough compared to your 2-1 loss on the lighthouse. And you did agree that essentially, if this was happening, then it would account for why you can't see the bottom of your lighthouse.
It could. It's an explanation. Yeah, it could.
Yeah,
excellent.
Excellent.
Great.
Not necessarily is, but it could, yeah.
Excellent.
Yep, so there's no proof. Great.
So, well, the next question is, Jose, if this is something that could cause the effect of bottom-up obstruction, why do you think it would be necessary to completely exclude it from the globe mathematics?
Because then in the other observation, when there's no tree line, nothing blocking halfway that I can hide this compression zone, I can see solid obstruction, just the hard horizon line, and then I see the obstructed structure in the distance, no compression whatsoever.
Yes, I understand that, Jose. My question is, given that that's the case, why would it be necessary to completely exclude the angular relationship from the globe maths if it's something that definitely does happen?
Something that it could happen, but is not evidence in all the footage in the same observation panning around.
Sorry. So even though
if there's compression, it cannot be compression in one little spot and then all the way 360, no compression. It has to be compression all the way around in the same distance.
Yes, there's always compression, Jose. Yeah? Things get smaller into the distance. They compress. Do you deny that things get smaller into the distance? Compress.
I don't deny perspective.
Oh, right. So things do compress into the distance. Smaller angle
things
as you get further away, right?
Angular size, yeah.
Yeah.
Uniformly, yeah.
So they compress. I'll ask again, why would it be necessary, given that you concede this does happen, to ignore that effect when looking at a globe model? Why would you ignore it?
I'm not looking at any model. I'm just looking at real life observations.
But you assert it's Earth curve, though, don't you, Jose? What else could it be?
No, I have to intersect here, Nathan. He said that it's uniform compression. That's bullshit. When you said it's compressing, he said yes, uniformly. That's not correct.
Yeah, the bottom angle is more limited than the top angle. We've already gone through this. He's just ignored it.
And decided. Because you're substituting compression with perspective. I say perspective, everything reduces angular size uniformly.
No, it doesn't, Jose.
Compression is something else that I haven't experienced.
Jose, it doesn't. The bottom angle will disappear first because it's a smaller angle. So, Ranty, can you bring your Stenoline boat back up? So on the Stenoline boat, the bottom section is more compressed than the top section. So, would you like to take back your assertion that these things uniformly compress? Because clearly, they don't.
There are some cases that don't, like this Stenoline. It just compresses in the bottom, yes. Some cases.
Right, okay, thanks.
So they don't compress uniformly, which was your rebuttal to my question. Why would you ignore this? Your answer, they compress uniformly, even though the compression itself is entirely ignored. The fact that things get smaller into the distance is ignored in the globe maths, Jose. 10-foot wall is always a 10-foot wall and visible, even though you have conceded that if you push it out far enough, the angle will decrease and you won't see it. That's ignored. I want to know why you would assert that it's Earth curve, given that the Earth curve model ignores this effect.
If I want to add another 10-foot wall on top of that 10-foot wall, I'd have to push it really, really, really far away. Too small to see it uniformly, top to bottom. I'm just not going to be able to see it. It's too far.
Yeah, that's our point, Jose.
Unless you say we can see forever.
Yeah, we don't say that. That's what you say. So are you literally accusing us of the bullshit that you use with your sphere relief belief, because that is what you do.
No, I don't see forever, and I'm missing too much in the bottom to be this angle of view compression.
How do you know? Sorry, you've just told us you haven't worked out the angular resolution of the bottom of the lighthouse. How the hell would you know?
I just see it. I gotta.
Sorry, I don't care what you just see. You've just made an assertion that it's not the angle. Now I'm asking you to qualify how you know this, and you're saying I just see it.
I just see it because it's...
Oh, right. Well, I don't care what you just see. The bottom is a limited angle. If you're to assert that it's too much of a discrepancy for it to be angle, I'd expect you to damn well measure it first before making that assertion. You haven't got the vaguest idea whether it's too big or too small. You don't want to do the maths, do you, Jose? So don't assert whether it's too big or too small to have disappeared due to angle when you haven't got the vaguest clue and haven't measured it.
You just say he doesn't even want to do the math. He just wants to believe it, Nathan.
He just wants to assert it. It's too little or too much to go to the angle. Right, Jose? It's too much or too little. But you don't want to do the maths. Stop making assertions when you haven't done any maths. You haven't got a vaguest idea whether or not the bottom angle is too small to disappear. So don't tell me that it is, because you've looked at it.
You make all the assertions you want. You can make all the assertions that is the angle bullshit compression.
Oh, bullshit.
You can make that assertion.
Excuse me, Jose.
Just make the assertion is behind the curve.
Excuse me, Jose. So we're back to this. So the 6-foot wall goes out far enough and disappears. Let's just stick to that bit. You still agree with that, don't you?
Yeah, I don't know. The 6-foot wall, you gotta go really, really far away.
No. Eventually, I don't give a crap if it's 1,000 miles or 1 mile. Eventually, it's too small to see, right, Jose?
You don't want to go there, huh?
Sorry. Do you think you're being clever, Jose?
No, I'm not.
Do you think you're winning here?
I'm not. Definitely.
No, I know you're not. So don't be smart with me.
Neither are you. Nobody's winning,
I am winning, Jose.
We're spinning around in the same spot.
Yeah, you're circle jerking us, asshole. Stuff does disappear eventually, doesn't it, Jose?
Trigger, Nathan, calling Nathan.
Sorry, Jose, just concede again. You've already done it once. Don't be a wanker. Stuff will eventually disappear due to angular size, won't it?
Yes, perspective uniformly, yes.
Right, that's ignored in your religious globe maths.
I don't use globe math. I just use observations, my eyes.
You just use raw assumption.
Of obstruction, though, Jose, yeah? You're observing obstruction.
Yes.
Right. Not Earth curve, then.
If you don't want to believe it's not Earth curve...
I don't want to believe anything, Jose. I don't care what you believe, and I don't care if you demand that I should believe it. No, your musings on obstruction don't bother me at all. Your musings about it being not a small enough angle for it to disappear the amount that you can see doesn't concern me in the slightest. Your musings are irrelevant.
Can you put me on screen next, please?
Yep, you're on.
Right, okay, so Jose, you know before when you said it was obviously an optical issue going on here, which we're talking about this angle. Obviously, we could probably measure this angle. We've got, as I say, it's 2 inferior mirages on 2 bolts at different heights. You would agree that it's an angle in this case. This is an optical effect due to the angle.
Yeah, there's the slant effect. So the horizon line should be higher and higher the further it goes.
So from this observation point here on the right, if we were looking at the sea truck and it is an angle, obviously this is the critical viewing angle. It's just one. Let's just say it's 1 degree, for instance, argument's sake. This boat, as it goes further and further away, as it sails further away, more of it will become hidden behind the critical angle. Is that correct? Would you agree with that?
Fortunately, Ranty's going to have to make this point on the next show as I'm going to round out this section. For the Nathan Oakley and Nathan Oakley 1980 audience. So a massive, huge, enormous thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. If you are watching live, I will keep the stream going in this little break, so don't go anywhere. But if you're watching on Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley, then massive thanks for watching. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
height, but it's still being pushed into this critical viewing angle. So the further away the tower gets pushed away, in relation to me, I see it smaller. It doesn't physically get smaller, but it looks smaller. And it still gets pushed further and further down into the critical angle. And that's why things disappear from the bottom up. I think on the next slide, you'll actually see, there we go. I've put the red line, in, the red marker here just blocks out everything that we wouldn't be able to see. As we look from here at the tower, further away, we go away from the tower gets smaller in due to perspective, but it also still gets pushed into that critical viewing angle to eventually you get things like this, where you're only seeing the very top part of Blackpool Tower.
Is this the slant effect? I'm sorry, I couldn't avoid the comment.
Yes, the slant effect, yes.
Okay, so everything
it's the miraging zone. It's the slice out of sight.
As the
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there is a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly though, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Wiggles, The Plain Truth, Sleeping Warrior, Ranty Flat Earth, Jose JG Soundly Slayer Gonzalez, Frank, Chocolate Saiyan, and Arwin. Good to have you all.
Good afternoon.
Good day, good day.
Good morning.
Good morning here.
yeah,
I'm
hello.
leaving on a jet plane.
We've got a couple of choices. Ranty was in the middle of a demonstration when I rounded out the last show, so my apologies to you, Ranty. I just ran out of time. Do you want to do housekeeping first or carry on with your example?
I think I'll just carry on with this and then we can do housekeeping,
No
if that's
problem.
all right.
Yeah,
So we just had a concession. Sorry, we just had a concession from Jose. That obviously this is the angular slant, you know, the Arwinian slant that he was going on about for the past year, the optical. And we obviously have two inferior mirages proving that it is actually an angle as opposed to any kind of earth curve. And then I went through a series of images, basically detailing, like in this particular one, as Blackpool Tower from my observation point here. As I look at Blackpool Tower, to my eye, the tower gets smaller the further it goes away, or the further I go away from the tower. It doesn't physically get smaller, but it appears to get smaller. And if we're looking through this critical viewing angle at 1 degree, let's put it at 1 degree, eventually the tower itself will be lost in that critical viewing angle, the same as with the boats that I was just showing you before. If I just scroll on to the next image, this red is just denoting how much of the tower is being blocked off due to the critical angle and the fact that the tower, due to perspective, gets smaller the further away it goes. And evidence with the two boats. This is boat in the foreground, sea truck panorama. Obviously, you can see that the bottom of it's hidden. If we actually put an inferior mirage on that, that would essentially look the same as the image back here with these two boats. So we can see the top part of the boat, the front part and the back part here, and yet the entirety of the boat is hidden behind the inferior mirage in that critical viewing angle.
Okay, so in this diagram that you had, that the slant up in orthographic view, if you're looking from a first-person perspective, you're going to see the floor ramping up along with everything on it. So what you're doing wrong in this diagram, you are burying that tower and sitting it in the not real live observation. If you're looking forward, you have to put that tower above that slant effect, not underneath it.
Why?
because that's the way we see the world.
Really? We see the horizon
Yes.
rising up. So in an orthographic
Yeah.
view, if you just draw a straight line and put everything on top of it, you've got no horizon.
Exactly.
Yeah, but we don't see the world in orthographic view. We see it in the first person perspective.
Right, and what we see is it rising up, a slant, precisely as has been drawn and demonstrated for about a year by Arwin.
With everything in top of it, of the slant. It's not going to
Yeah.
be under the slant. It's going to be everything above the slant.
Why? Things get smaller into the
Because that's
distance,
the way the
Jose. They
world
don't
works.
stay the same size.
No, things appear to get smaller, and everything is above the slant. Nothing is going
No.
underneath the
So
slant.
again, Jose, like on the last show, Jose, the 6-foot wall, when you back away from it, eventually disappears, doesn't it, Jose? So it's not going to be sat on top of that line if it's too small to see, is it?
Hang on, Jose just said that nothing disappears underneath the critical viewing angle. Well, here we have two inferior mirages. Here we have two, and both of them are blocking out. So it can't be just one inferior mirage. It can't be a curvature of the Earth. It has to be an atmospheric blockage, which would mean
you got nothing. You got too much atmospheric effects in there. You got to choose a clean observation to do this example.
So you don't get a clean observation angle. You always have a diffraction limit. Always.
Yes. You
Show
always
my
do.
video.
You can't see forever, Jose. The world doesn't represent itself in an orthographic view with a never-ending straight line and no horizon. The slant rises up to the midpoint of the camera. The slant rises up to the midpoint of the camera. That's a fact. That's what perspective does. And things do get too small to see. The bottom angle being the quickest to do that.
Nathan, don't remind me. I'm not the 1% in orthographic view.
We're not. We're presenting pictures of the real world. We're putting it into Muppet Vision because you're a globehead now.
I don't agree with this orthographic vision.
You
I
said
see
the
things with my
slant
eyes.
should have everything on top of it.
Excellent. Then, if he doesn't agree with orthographic, this is real world. This is a real world observation. So
Real
we're not
shitty-
playing anything
No, but
in real
Randy's,
observation right now.
Randy's side view was only a demonstration. It was not a literal calculation. It was only to show you what's going on. It's not the real optics. It's just a demonstration, a diagram to show you what's actually going on.
Yep. And
Yeah,
here
I'll
we
make
have.
some
It's
drawings.
not calculated. It's
I'll
just
make some
shown.
drawings, some diagrams, and put up a video how the optical slant work in orthographic view,
Well,
like
this
the
isn't a
real
diagram.
deal, not like Randy presented it.
Well, this isn't a diagram. This is a real world observation. This is an image taken from a video that you've actually seen before. So you know this video exists. You know that you can go and collect
I
this
got
same
many
image
like
yourself.
that. Many like that.
Great. So you know it happens then. You
Yes.
know that the bottom of this boat is hidden behind the atmosphere. You know the one in the background's hidden behind the same atmosphere. And you know that it must be on an angle because you have two inferior mirages.
I don't know what your conclusion is. Nothing can be concluded of these optical effects observations. You got to
conclude
choose the
that it's
clear
curvature.
observations.
But you conclude that
I
this is.
don't. I don't.
Oh,
Yeah, you do.
yeah,
What else
Well,
could
man.
it
this
be?
observation,
This is
since
the whole
Randy
reason
put it
why
up,
we're
I say
having
this is
this
a really bad
argument.
Okay,
observation.
so
Too much
yeah,
optical
when you
phenomena
don't
going on.
see it, it's curvature, and in this case, it's not curvature. So I guess that
Exactly.
the shape of the Earth is variable. Sometimes
Yeah,
it's a
just
globe,
like gravity,
sometimes it's flat.
curvature does what it
Makes
wants. It
lots of
fluctuates when it
Let's
wants. We
choose
live
the
on a
clear
handball.
observations.
You're ridiculous, Jose. Like,
Don't choose this optical
even know-
effect
I don't even
observations.
understand you
Choose the
right
clear
now, bro.
ones.
All right.
I don't think I'm a
You just believe that.
Himself.
You just believe that, man.
Yeah,
You
not
say-
good to
you
present
say
these
you're-
optical observations.
You say you want to.
Oh, mobile drop.
Yep.
This is why we cannot argue with a globe head.
Show my video.
Yeah, if someone wants to bring up Travis's video, I'd really appreciate it. He's on a mobile, so he can't do it.
Arwin, do you want to bring that up, mate?
Why is it always me?
I don't know why you always get lumbered with it, Arwin.
What's the video?
It's because you're willing, I think.
Where's it?
Travis?
It's on my channel. It's the latest one. It should be the very first in the playlist, but I'm about to take off, so.
Is it called ATAT rig in the AM?
If he gets it up straight away, will you talk us through it, Travis?
As long as I've got coverage.
Excellent.
Really quick, I want to tell, I appreciate Ranty's observations because you get down and dirty and you do observations, and you're a good spirit for that, and I thank you for that. But I just not watching your channel, your videos, because I got banned in your channel, so unfortunately I'm not watching your videos anymore unless I see it in Nathan's show or Riley where I'm not banned. You know, I just wanted to say that.
Okay, Travis, which one did you want me to show?
I don't. It's like
rig.
Yeah, it's like 17 minutes long. But if you want to skip
Right.
past the first minute of which is my intro music, and just go to the first image that I.
Okay, hold on.
Travis, make sure you get a picture of all that curvature up there, brother.
I'm on an aisle.
It sucks.
If you
I
want
always
pictures,
try to get the window.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
world space.
Right, Travis, can you hear?
all right, so go. Yeah. So go to the next. Go to the end of this intro, and I think I should have. Okay, so watch. That's a boat. The very next image is going to be the top of the oil rig. Right here. Right there. That's the very top of the oil rig.
This
Okay.
smudge on the left-hand side.
This smudge.
This smudge, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
You can see it looks like a grasshopper is going to be crawling up over the horizon.
Gotcha.
So then, yeah, go right there, right there.
Yeah, it's coming.
All right, there it is. Same location. I have not moved I have not changed my elevation. I have not changed my camera position, and there it is. And then if you go farther into the video, I have about 8 stills in a row of different images of this same rig with different atmospheric distortion. But the point is that the very first image, all you can see is the antenna at the very top. So where's the body? Where'd it go?
Do you have at least one that is really clear? You should try to get one really clear.
Jose, it's the atmosphere, dude. I can't focus. You should watch my videos and see how my camera goes in and out of focus because the atmosphere is so bad it can't resolve what it sees. So what you see is what you get, bro.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to get really crispy, clear days. That's why I'm where I am.
Well, watch my videos. I've got everything from clear days with a lot of heat and not. So go about 3/4 of the way through this video to the stills, Arwen, please.
What? When? The previous part? This?
No, farther in, about 3/4 of the way through. Keep going. No, I don't know. It's a series of stills. I think that's toward the end. You might have gone too far.
Oh.
I just wind out with that rig.
That was pretty clear.
I've also got images of that lighthouse that you just saw that was pretty good in one of my videos, but yeah, I don't know. You're gonna have to fish for it. It's farther back, but not too far.
I'm a little busy. I'm gonna stay on mute for a while. I might drop.
Finally.
Oh, you should watch this. I think it's like 9 minutes and 25 seconds. Is that the mark there? What's the time marker?
Maybe just leave it playing from this point, Arwen. I'm happy to just let it play out if you are, Travis.
What's the time marker there? 9:25 has a really great visual. Oh, here it comes. Yeah. Watch this. Watch.
Put it 9.
It's right here. It's right there. It's coming up. That buoy. It's the same stuff that we see with Ranty. Well, the kicker is the still images that I've got of that because it actually gets stretched out so that it looks like it's a walking AT-AT from Empire Strikes Back.
Sweet.
Yeah, I think you passed the spot where it passed by that buoy, but whatever. I mean, you know, you've seen what you've seen. At the very beginning, the oil rig is gone.
You've got to be careful not to draw conclusions from blurry photos.
They're not blurry. Yeah, this is toward the end. I just let it play out with this in the final show where there's nothing really significant with this except for the horizon. But you can see, I think, an inferior mirage there.
Sure.
That's the same.
Reflecting
that's the
down
same
on
oil
itself.
rig that I had with the looming unicorn. Okay, I'm taking off. See you guys.
You off, Travis?
Watch out for that Coriolis.
Yeah, thanks, Travis. Excellent imagery.
Yep.
Nathan, I wanted to ask you about your gas pressure claim.
Not a claim, it's the second law of thermodynamics.
Okay, yeah. So, like, I noticed in one of your videos, you said that you're starting to commit to the idea that there's a dome around Earth.
No. Do you want to get a quote?
Yeah. I got a link to the. I linked in the group chat.
Okay. Do you want to quote it?
Sure. Yeah. If I could play the video with audio, I would, but I don't know how to play with audio.
What were the words said, and what's your point?
Feel a straw man coming up.
So your flat earther friend says that you say that I can't commit to that dome.
So you're saying I commit to a dome by saying I can't commit to a dome. Is that your quote?
No, I'm.
Sorry, I'll ask again.
Accountable to
is my quote the words, quote, I can't commit to a dome? Those are the quotes that you're going to give as me claiming that we have a dome. Is that right, Wiggles?
Hold on, Nathan, hold on.
Not hold on, just yes or no. Are you misrepresenting a quote? Because it sounds to me like that quote makes it unequivocally clear that I'm not committing to it, Wiggles.
Oh, Nathan, your quote is, I know, I'm getting there. That was your quote.
Sorry, what the fuck does that mean?
Did you actually say that, Nathan?
Sorry, does that say, yes, there is a dome? Quote, Nathan, 2018, yes, there's a dome, Wiggles. Is that... what did you say the quote was? Yeah, I'm getting there. Sorry, what the fuck is your problem, Wiggles?
Wow.
How dare you? How dare you?
Wiggles, this was your angle, bro? This is what you came in here with?
I just want Nathan to commit to a dome.
Oh, I know you want me to commit to it. I couldn't give a crap what you want, Wiggles. You think we've got space.
Up to the idea that
you think we've got space, don't you?
Well, yes, of course there's space.
Oh, really? Well, that's a second law of thermodynamics violation. You can't have gas pressure without a container. Something to press upon. So space is an impossibility, Wiggles. You keep claiming pictures from space, Wiggles? Don't you?
There are pictures from outer space.
Yeah, outer space is fake. It cannot possibly exist. If space was there, we wouldn't be breathing because the gas pressure would dissipate into the vacuum. So this dome straw man that you have no quote to back up is nonsense. I don't claim that. You, as has been made obvious and clear right now, do claim we have a region that defies the second law of thermodynamics.
Well, Nathan, I mentioned this in chat, but I'm going to mention it now that I'm on the panel. Like, you're aware that the Earth's atmospheric pressure decreases with elevation, right?
Atmospheric what, sorry?
So the Earth's atmospheric pressure...
pressure,
decreases.
oh right, something that requires something to press upon. Yes, yes. Okay, it decreases towards the top. So does that negate the fact that at the top it would still need to press upon something?
Well, the pressure, it keeps decreasing. It actually
Yes,
keeps
I know.
decreasing.
We've just conceded. Yes, yes, Wiggles. Decreases. Does that negate the requirement to press on something?
Did somebody say dome? I think Nathan is
Shut
trying
up,
to say
Jose. We're
dome.
done with you. Shut up,
ahead.
Jose. Don't be a troll. So, Wiggles, do I need to say it a third time even slower? Does it decreasing in, let's get the word right, what was the word again? Pressure, mean that it no longer needs to press on something? Third time I've asked.
Yeah, well, something at zero pressure doesn't need anything to press upon.
Sorry.
Really? Where's that zero
So we
pressure?
have gas at zero pressure, do we, Wiggles?
Well, the gas gets, like, the pressure of the gas.
You're not answering my
gradually
question.
decreases
You're not
until you
answering my
have
question, are you, Wiggles? My question I'll ask for a fourth time. Does the decrease in pressure mean that it no longer needs to press on something, or not?
Well, if you're just going to, like, ask me, like, in like sensible people world, like, there doesn't need to be anything for the atmosphere to press upon.
Oh, really? So it's not... so the pressure isn't pressing. Right, Wiggles?
The pressure refers to the atmosphere pressing on the surface of Earth.
Does it really?
No.
Yeah.
So, no,
it
gas
presses on
pressure...
everything.
My bad. You take over, Arwin. Clearly, I can't handle the situation.
Arwen, you're taking over?
I don't know. Probably not.
You're a bit hesitant.
I'm still caught up in that hilarious thing that apparently Nathan spilled the beans by saying, I'm getting there, and now that just means that he's... That was so stupid. I can't believe you actually...
What were you saying a minute ago about zero pressure in a container? Zero pressure not needing a container?
Yeah, I don't think that even exists officially anywhere.
Oh, you can have vacuum chambers.
Yeah, well, zero pressure doesn't need a container because zero pressure is literally nothing.
Yeah, it's the absence of any particles.
Right,
Right, so you wouldn't need
like
a
the
container for
vacuum.
that.
Like the vacuum, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, right. So let's not worry about what it's pressing on at the bottom. What's it pressing on at the top?
There's nothing. It's not pressing at anything at the top.
Oh, it must. It's a pressure.
Then is it
sorry.
gravity that's holding it down then?
It's a pressure. It must press to have pressure. Without the container, there is no pressure. Conspiracy Cats 2018. Or, let's put it another way. Let's use your words, Wiggles. The gas would fill the space. Wiggles 2019. So you're saying now that it doesn't need to press the pressure, that is. The pressure no longer needs to press.
Nathan, you keep misquoting me. I wonder how long you're going to do that for.
The gas would fill the space. That is the quote. I have it screen capped. Would you like me to get it and put it on screen like you didn't do with my quote?
You can if you want, but I mean, what I was
sorry,
doing was
so are you now denying
logic.
that is your quote? Just deny it so I can put it on screen and humiliate you as a liar. The gas will fill the space, in quotes, 2019 Wiggles. Are you denying that quote?
I was following your logic.
I don't care what you were doing. In quotes, Wiggles, 2019, the gas would fill the space. That is a quote from you. I don't care your logic or reasoning. Those were the words. That's a quotation. It has quotation marks around it. Are you saying that is now not true? Gas pressure doesn't need to press at the top. Even though gas expands in all directions, it only needs to press on the bottom, according to Wiggles.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, so the gas would not fill the space?
Exactly, yes.
Well, that's contradicting what you said in your quote. So gas does not fill space. That defies the second law of thermodynamics, Wiggles. Gas does fill space. Gas
Like,
does
you're
fill the
familiar
space.
with that Einstein quote, right? Like the sign of an intelligent man is to be able to entertain an idea without actually accepting it. I was just entertaining your idea.
I don't give a crap. It's a quote. Like,
Yeah,
I care
was
about the
just a
reasoning
quote of
behind
me
the quote.
entertaining your idea without
That's
accepting
lovely.
it. You
My
understand
idea
that?
isn't an idea. I said it the first thing I said to you. It's not my idea. It's the second law of thermodynamics. Stop calling it my idea.
It's your misunderstanding of the second
No,
law
I
of
don't
thermodynamics.
misunderstand. The gas would fill the space, or without the container there is no pressure. This is Globehead explanations, not mine. So if you have a problem with without the container there is no pressure, take it up with conspiracy cats, or defy the second law of thermodynamics, because I assure you, Wiggles, the gas would fill the space.
Well, let's just assume that we're true and see if that leads to
No, we
any
don't
problem.
need to assume it's true. It's a law. There's no assumption
great.
required here. Sorry, I don't need to assume the second law of thermodynamics holds true.
Well, you're not saying the second law of thermodynamics. You're saying your twisted understanding of it, which is wrong.
No, I'm not at all. Entropy. The gas would fill the space.
Yeah, but like gravity.
Yeah, what do you mean, yeah, but? Yeah, the gas would fill the space. Outer space being that space that the gas would fill. It's not filling it because outer space is fake.
Well, Nathan, the second law of thermodynamics is referring to a system not under the effect of gravity.
Oh, really?
So,
do you want to get
yeah.
citation, please?
This is just what it is.
Sorry, citation, please.
There's no
dogma
mention.
statement.
There's no mention of gravity in like that professor's video that you linked. Like you have a video of an MIT professor. He draws a box on the chalkboard, and then he draws a rectangle, and then he draws a line through the middle of the rectangle. And he says, like, so you got gas in one compartment, vacuum in the other compartment, and then when you remove the barrier, the gas will fill the available space. There's no reference to gravity in that professor's talk right there.
Maybe because there didn't need to be.
Oh, sorry, my bad. There was also no reference to unicorns in there.
Right.
And there was no reference to unicorns as well.
No, there wasn't. So should we take into account the unicorns also?
We don't need to. Because
Oh, we don't
they're
need to
not
take
part
into
of-
account gravity either. He doesn't mention it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't need to take account of gravity in this.
No, we don't. No, entropy would
Right.
still take effect regardless of your imaginings about gravity. Unless you have some scientific evidence of gravity, it's just a unicorn. Yeah, you laugh it up, Wiggles. So, do you have scientific evidence of gravity? And if you do, can you demonstrate that gravity maintaining gas pressure without a container?
Well, the Earth's atmosphere is
Not your religious belief about what the Earth does. Can you demonstrate scientific evidence of gravity? And if you can you demonstrate that gravity maintaining gas pressure without a container? Don't assert your religious belief about what the Earth does.
Okay, here's my evidence for gravity. I'll turn on my camera.
It's scientific evidence?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Well,
I've
before
got
you
my
show us
desk
anything,
is a bit of a
tell
mess.
us the
I'll take
hypothesis.
this Rubik's Cube. It's very colorful.
No worries, it's scientific. So
You're gonna
before
drop
I see
something?
anything, I want to hear the hypothesis.
Gravity exists.
Helium balloon.
Stop laughing and listen to what I'm saying to you, Wiggles.
Drop something.
Wiggles, you're not
yeah.
listening. If it's scientific evidence, I want the hypothesis first. Give it to me.
That all objects accelerate at 9.8 meters a second per second towards the center of Earth.
What's the
Unless
null?
there's a force getting
What's
in
the
the
null?
way, right?
Okay, what's the null?
That there's no force at all.
Sorry, the null is the mirror opposite of the alternative hypothesis. Do you know how to formulate a hypothesis? Doesn't seem like it.
Sure. Yeah.
Sorry, you don't have a valid scientific hypothesis. So what you're about to show us was not scientific in the slightest, Wiggles. You don't have a valid hypothesis.
It's what happens when you. drop
Sorry,
things,
I
they
don't
fall.
want your religious belief about it. I just asked if you had scientific evidence. You said yes. You don't. So do you want to take that back? Say, no, I don't have scientific evidence. Just my musings and religious belief.
Every time I've ever dropped something, it's gone towards the center of Earth.
Yeah, it's because it's heavy. It's more dense than the air it's passing through, you moron.
Have you ever let go of a helium balloon?
Yeah, all those rise, yeah, but the
Oh,
Earth,
so your example's just utter Mongol horseshit then, is it, Wiggles? So everything you've ever observed went towards the ground, except the things that didn't?
Oh yeah, I got to be careful. Yeah, I'm
Yeah, you got to be careful when you start talking shit about gravity, because someone on the panel might ask you if you've ever dropped a helium balloon and make you look really stupid.
Yeah, you got me there. I should have been more.
Yeah, we have got you there because you don't have any scientific evidence for gravity, and so far you've asserted that gravity is defying the second law of thermodynamics. So let's just concede, yeah, you dropping something doesn't prove gravity. There is no scientific evidence of gravity, therefore gravity is not an explanation for the fake medium of space.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Yeah, I'm really screwed here, aren't I?
When you drop things, they fall. Like
yeah, because they're more dense than the air. So when you drop a helium balloon, does it fall? Didn't we just do this?
Yeah, but why does it fall down and not
Sorry,
up?
does the helium balloon fall down?
Wow, Wiggles, man.
Does the helium balloon fall down, Wiggles?
Okay, so Nathan, so
answer me, yes or no. Don't ask me
Rubik's
something,
Cube.
answer my question. You've just asserted that things fall down when you drop them. So,
Yeah.
Did the helium balloon go down?
Well, no.
Oh, right, Wiggles. So let's not worry about your Gish Gallop ad hoc explanation that involves this pseudo-fictitious force that you have no scientific evidence for and can't even give a coherent example of, because when you state that things drop, they don't, do they, Wiggles? So let's not worry about this bullshit of gravity. Let's worry about this fictitious region of space.
Well, Nathan, why did the denser things go down?
Relative density.
Yeah,
They
but why
don't.
down and not up?
A helium... We've just done this 3 times.
Yeah, but...
3 times. Helium balloon, dickhead. Are you deaf?
Yeah, but like you're just saying...
Are you deaf? Are you deaf?
Nathan, you're saying the denser
Are
thing
you
moves.
deaf? That's my question. Clearly the answer's yes.
How does the denser thing know which way to go?
Sorry, why are you asking me this? You've just said I drop things, they drop, that's gravity. Then we say helium balloon and you go, oh, you got me there. Why are you still using this shit example?
It's a valid, I'm asking you a valid question, Nathan.
Don't ask me anything. We're still talking about the vacuum of space that doesn't exist. That defies the second law of thermodynamics. That's what we're talking about. Don't ask me about buoyancy and density. Because you've asserted gravity does this. I don't want a conversation about relative density. You don't drop things and watch them fall, do you, Wiggles? So let's move on from this nonsense and get back to the vacuum of space. You don't have pictures from a fake region that cannot exist because it defies the second law of thermodynamics. Your explanation of gravity has failed.
Well, we do have pictures from outer space.
No, we don't. It's a fake medium. How can we possibly have pictures from a fake place?
Well, I mean, like,
Who took
when
them?
you're saying something wrong, I'm just going to say the right thing. Like, we're going to have to go a bit deeper in this, Nathan.
Okay. I've got pictures of Narnia. Do you accept that Narnia is real?
Well, let's see your pictures of Narnia. I'm a skeptic. I'm going to demand.
Nathan,
those
you're
pictures.
arguing from denial, Nathan. You're arguing
Sorry.
from denial.
Let's
That's it.
just assume that we... Sorry, does anybody on the panel not know what Narnia is?
Oh, I've got a mermaid as well, Nathan. I've got-
Just
know what
please,
Narnia is.
please go with
the
me.
land in the
Does
closet, isn't it?
anybody on the
Fantasy,
panel...
fantasy.
Why are you so uncooperative, panel, today? I don't get it. Does anybody on the panel not know what Narnia is?
It's like a land in the closet,
No.
right?
So you do know what Narnia is then, Wiggles? The one person that I thought wouldn't give me the concession has. Excellent. Moving on swiftly. So you know what Narnia is then, Wiggles? Excellent. So you appreciate that there are photographs of Narnia without demanding that I dig them out. I'm not demanding you dig out your bullshit pictures of space. I know there's pictures that you claim come from a fake region. Now I'm saying there's also pictures of Narnia. So, are you going to say that unless I produce a picture of Narnia, you're not going to accept it, but you will if I do?
There's also pictures of Bigfoot, but it's widely accepted that Bigfoot does not exist. Like,
Oh,
it's
right.
just
Well,
a
there's
guy in
also
a
pictures
suit.
of space,
disproved
and
his
space
point.
doesn't exist.
Like,
just
Yeah,
like-
you kind of just shit it all over your own point.
Yeah, you just.
I don't know if you
I'm
realize
assuming you
that.
guys can think critically here.
Oh,
Like you gotta
By
look at a
shitting
thing
on your
and say,
own
is
point,
this really real, or it's like
by shitting on your own point, okay. Have fun with that.
yeah, we don't need to think
I'm
critically.
shitting on
We've never been
Nathan's
there or
point.
experienced it, have we, Wiggles? We've only got these photos to go on, and I've drawn a comparison between another fake place called Narnia.
You might be trying to shit all over Nathan's point, but you actually hit the fan and it blew it right back in your face.
Well, we can talk about metaphors about which argument is getting shit on, but I mean,
Oh, that's very
I
easy.
don't
You don't have any.
that
You
gets
don't
us
have any.
anywhere.
None. I haven't heard any argument from you.
I mean, you
Not
just
a
tried to
single one.
say.
Only
just tried to
unfinished
say-
starts.
You just tried to say that you have pictures of space, and that was going to be your proof. And then you say, there's pictures of Bigfoot, but that doesn't mean it's real.
Yeah, you got to use your mind.
Oh, okay. So that means that there's
that's
pictures
what
of
we're doing.
space that don't mean it's real, right?
They could be real or fake.
Oh, they could be, but that doesn't mean that they are, right? Oh, okay.
So, like,
so they
no,
could be real or
okay.
fake, Wiggles, right? Well, then we need to look beyond the pictures, don't we? And start examining maybe the region that the pictures were took from. So, do we all believe that we can go through a wardrobe and take pictures? No. Do we believe that we can defy the second law of thermodynamics? No. Both places, both fake.
Well, the point I really want to address, Nathan, is that you're saying that gas pressure needs a container to, like, you need a container to have pressure.
Something to press upon. Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
part of the second law of thermodynamics. Without the container, there is no pressure.
Yeah, so Nathan, you're saying that Earth must have a dome around it to keep the atmosphere
So we're back to this
pressure
straw
that we
man.
have.
Sorry, do you want to get a quote? We're back to this asshole straw man that you came in with. So get the quote, read it out with quotes around it.
So Nathan, it's not a quote. What it is, it's a...
Oh, it's just your fucktardery misrepresentation of me then, is it? So you don't have a quote. I've got loads of quotes. Conspiracy Cats 2018. Without the container, there can be no pressure. Without the balloon, there is no pressure. Or Wiggles 2019. The gas would fill the space. Those are called quotes.
As I have said, I was entertaining your idea without accepting it.
I don't give a
And I
crap.
said that.
That's a quote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're quoting me.
So you
entertaining
haven't got a
your
quote
idea.
for me and want to decide what the interpretation of a quote you don't have is, while simultaneously saying, I was thinking something else, while you quote my exact words. Right, Wiggles? That's a very fair standard you've got there. I'll just say something, and then after the fact decide that I mean something totally different, or that I was actually thinking about someone else's argument when I said it. Because that's obviously going to be contextualised within those quote marks, isn't it? That you don't have for me.
It's an immediate logical consequence of what you said, Nathan.
Oh, really? Well, the theoretical consequence of what you said, the gas would fill the space, in quotes, Wiggles 2019, would be that the gas would fill the space.
You know, we've been through this before, and I know how it turns out, so I got another question for you, Nathan.
How does it turn out?
Well, it turns out like it does. Like, you say that I'm straw-manning you, and that's
What, with
really...
the gas would... Sorry, these are your own words, so you feel that my use of your words is a straw man.
No, it's like when I say that you're saying that there must be a dome, you say...
I didn't say there must be a dome. Those words have never crossed my lips. The words that crossed your lips were, the gas would fill the space, in quotes, Wiggles 2019. Misrepresent what I have said and lie about something I have said again, Wiggles, and I'll kick you out. Stop lying about what I've said. You don't have a quote. I have not said there is a dome. You are lying.
So, can I ask you like a question like beyond this then, Nathan?
What? Beyond what?
Like, do you know that the Earth is round and you're just pretending that it's flat?
What the hell are you talking about? We're on the subject of space. That is a second law of thermodynamics violation because the gas would fill the space. In quotes, Wiggles 2019. So we have gas and you think we have space. Well, Wiggles, the gas would fill the space. Quote, Wiggles 2019. Do you want to get around that with some sort of explanation that defies your own words?
I mean, like you're having a lot of difficulty with this, so it's either intentional difficulty or you've got to know that the
We
Earth
have
is
a lot
round.
of difficulty with you actually answering straight a question
Yeah,
without
would like
to-
preparing
lot of
us all
difficulty.
for
Can I
hours
ask
and
Wiggles?
hours and hours for a
Owen.
year.
Got a lot of
Okay,
difficulty
I
with
got a
space.
question here from
Wiggles.
Chocolates.
Wiggles, can I
Yeah.
ask what was the scenario in which you said that? Basically, when you said the gas would fill the space, what was the scenario you were picturing when you said that?
Yeah, the scenario was I was entertaining Nathan's idea without accepting Nathan's idea.
You were entertaining it.
Yeah.
Not my
What
idea.
was the
It's the
idea?
second law
I'm
of
unfamiliar with the
thermodynamics.
scenario.
For the third time. This is not my idea. Why do you keep saying that?
Well, because you're misunderstanding the second law of thermodynamics, Nathan.
Okay, so do you want to take me to a citation that explains how the gas would not fill the space? Take me to that.
No, in that
You're gonna get a kitty site.
in the video that you cited the professor, Nathan, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, right? Like you cite that MIT professor who draws the rectangle on the board.
Sorry, do you want to give me an example of the opposite? You're saying it's my idea, not the second law of thermodynamics, and that somehow I've misunderstood. So take me to the example where somebody, or there's a reference, or any example where the gas does not fill the space beyond your religious belief of Earth.
Well, we're talking about Earth's atmosphere. Earth's atmosphere is the example of gas under pressure without being fully contained. That's
Oh, is
all
it?
you're going to get.
Oh, really? No, that's your religious belief. None of us have experienced that, Wiggles. That's just a religious belief that you're trying to prove. So asserting your religious belief, precisely what you've done every time we've had this conversation thus far, when we get to the end of the conversation, you assert your religious belief again. The thing that you're trying to prove. So do you think by asserting that Earth has gas that defies the second law of thermodynamics, that's proof? No, that's your religious belief that you're attempting to prove, and I'm quoting the very words that came from you that defy this. The gas would fill the space. In quotes, Wiggles, 2019.
Yeah, I kind of gave up on trying to convince you that the Earth's atmosphere is held down by gravity.
Yeah, well,
What I wanted
scientific
to
evidence.
do
Oh, back to this. So we drop something and it goes to the Earth. Helium balloon. Should we do this for 10 minutes again?
We can, yeah. My question, Nathan, is how does the denser object know which direction to go in?
Sorry, the denser object.
Yeah.
Oh, well, what do you mean? No, it's just dense, more dense than the air it's in. It'll fall. Helium balloon, less dense, goes up. So this is everything to do with its density then. Relative density.
Yeah, but where do down and up come from?
Sorry, what does this have to do with the vacuum of space? Does it prove gravity? No, it doesn't. Does it prove the vacuum of space? No, it doesn't. So either this is a straw man, or you're just a circle-jerking asshole, because we've already covered this.
No, but it's very important that you're saying that there's no such thing as gravity. It's just things are different densities, and that's why they move in different directions. But how does the denser object know which direction to go?
Sorry, what does this prove space?
No, this is your...
So who cares? Let's not strawman me, please, Wiggles. Let's worry about your claim of photos from a region that cannot possibly exist.
Do we actually, for fun, do you want to pull up? I can pull up those photos and we can have a look at them.
Sorry, we're trying to prove the region that they were taken from. Do you want me to bring up the pictures of Narnia? So you believe we can walk through a wardrobe into a magical land, do we? Or should we prove first that we can travel to this magical land? Do we want to just negate that step and go straight to the pictures of Narnia? Sorry, I mean space.
Yeah, let's go to the pictures.
Straight to Narnia then. We're just accepting that we can walk through a wardrobe into a magical land.
Well, we can just look at some photos.
Sorry, answer my question. We are now accepting that we can walk through a wardrobe into a magical land and having a look at the photos. Because the bit about going into the magical land we're just going to accept because Wiggles demands it. Right, Wiggles? We all believe in Narnia now. We can get to Narnia through the wardrobe, right, Wiggles?
Well, we're going to Narnia, but then we're looking at Earth.
Yeah, we're going to look at Narnia through the wardrobe.
We're going to look at Earth from Narnia.
Yeah, we're looking at Narnia through a wardrobe. And we're just going to accept that we can go to Narnia, aren't we?
No, we're looking at Earth from Narnia.
No, we're looking at Earth from a fake region called space.
Okay, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, a fake region that can't possibly exist and you can't take photographs from. Like Narnia.
Yeah, so can you see these...
No, I want to know about the region they're taken from, because obviously if the region doesn't exist, then the pictures are ipso facto fake. Yeah.
Well, space can exist.
Yeah, I would need to prove Narnia before claiming the pictures from Narnia prove Narnia. So I need to prove first that we can travel through a wardrobe before I start presenting pictures as evidence. If I don't accept the concept of being able to travel to Narnia, no one's going to accept the pictures that I present from Narnia, are they? They're going to say that was taken in Scotland. And I'll say, no, the pictures prove you can go through a wardrobe. That's what you're trying to do. The pictures prove we can have a second law of thermodynamics violation. No, they don't.
I'm just curious, can you see the photos on
I'm
my
not
screen?
putting them up until you prove how we can have gas pressure without a container.
Gravity keeps the atmosphere down.
You don't have any scientific evidence for gravity. You have asserted that you drop something and it goes to the ground, and we've demonstrated clearly with a helium balloon that that's not the case. And then when you say, well, why do we have relative density? Not gravity. Not asking me to explain that. Why do we have relative density? Who cares? Sod all to do with Narnia.
Okay, so yeah, that's a fun circle to go in.
No. So the circle jerk would be me saying, well, we can have magic wardrobes. Do you not accept the magic wardrobe? That's your gravity. My magic wardrobe is the equivalent to your gravity. So just accept that there's magic wardrobes, okay?
Yeah, let's just well, let's not accept. Let's just like suspend the question of whether or not there is outer space, and just like look at these photos.
Why? That's
Well,
the
because,
question
like,
on the
there's something
table.
interesting-
Let's just suspend the table question. The question on the table about whether or not space is real, let's just ignore that and have a look at the pictures from the fake region. Right, Wiggles? No. Prove that you can have gas pressure, the bit we experience, not the space bit that we don't experience, that you've got these photos from, not that you took them. Yeah? First prove how we've got gas pressure. The pictures were taken from a vacuum. Why hasn't all the gas pressure that we're breathing gone into that vacuum? You're going to say gravity again? Something with no scientific validity?
Well, Nathan, you're not going to accept any proof I give you, so...
You haven't given us any. What have you given us as proof? Dropping a bloody stone?
You're not going to accept any proof I give you.
What have you given me? What have you
So
given
I
me?
just wanted to raise
What
the
proof?
point, like the...
You're making it seem like you've offered me an abundance of proof that I'm now just ignoring. You have given me no proof. None.
Okay, so the point
Not
that, like,
okay.
when I brought up these photos a couple of weeks...
Not okay. Don't just say, oh, okay, then I've given you no proof. That's okay. No. Give me some. Don't just assert I've given you all this proof and you haven't accepted it. You've given me jack.
Oh, I'd just like to point out that it's quite ironic that this in the beginning, like I think the beginning of Debate 700 earlier today, like the first one, you like the guy was remarking how you don't cut people off. And
Sorry.
that's kind of ironic. You're cutting the hell out of me right now.
Because you're not answering me. We've gone round and round in circles 3 times. We've covered the same thing 3 times. And your assertion is, I've given you all this proof and you haven't accepted it. That's not the case. You're going to damn well be sure I'm going to talk over you when you make up crap. Like you claiming I've got a quote about us having a dome, Wiggles. You can be damn sure I'm going to talk over that shit. No, you don't get to just lie here. No, you don't have any evidence or proof that you've presented. No, there is no scientific evidence of bloody gravity holding gas pressure next to a vacuum. You can't demonstrate any of this. Yet you have just asserted that you've presented a load of proof. Outrageous. You're just a liar. And you're moaning about me talking over you.
Yeah, but anyway, so like the point I was trying to just get to point out, like the reason I brought up those photos from space was that like there's two different satellites, right? Like there's one of the photos was taken from the ISS, another one
Sorry,
of them was taken from
Wiggles.
Himawari.
Wiggles, you are now
Yeah.
telling us about photos from a region I have just debunked. So you are going to completely ignore the fact that space cannot exist and continue to assert that you have pictures from a fake region, like Narnia. So this is why I'm talking over you. You have ignored every word I have said and are now saying, I'm going to show these pictures anyway. Right, Wiggles?
Yeah, because I wanted to bring up the point that like if like you're saying these photos are fake, well, two independent like bodies like came up with these photos. One of them was the Himawari satellite, another one was the ISS. And like I just as a test, I looked at the same at the same time and same location. I saw what
location?
picture they were seeing
Sorry,
of Earth.
what location?
49 North, 117 East at 5 a.m. Universal Time, August 30th, 2016.
And that's
Can
where the
I comment on
Himawari
these
was, and you went and had a
Himawari
look at
pictures?
it.
Sure, yeah.
So are you saying that you think that it's feeding real-time video of from these Himawari satellites?
Well, the Himawari satellite just takes a photo every interval.
10
or
minutes?
something
No,
like that.
it doesn't.
Once every 10 minutes?
No, it does not. It's not
Well,
in a
this is what they say.
feasible
This is what they
medium.
say.
Why are we now discussing the Himawari and what it does? Space is fake. It can't possibly be there. You can't have gas pressure without a container. Why are we now discussing this fake medium and what's in it?
Well, because my point is, there are videos where you show it shows how they gather all this data, and it's just layers. It's not an actual picture from space. They have different layers. They have a composite image of the Earth they use, and there's one layer that shows the termination line from the sun, and there's another layer that's gathered from probably the same technology they use for Doppler radar that they use for measuring weather patterns, and that's pretty accurate. And they just add all these layers on top of each other and present them one image every 10 minutes. It's not a picture. It's many layers of different types of data.
While that may be the case, wherever they have been produced from, they have not come from space.
That is true.
Well, there are actually like photos, just like plain photos, no like composites.
From where? Space? Well, then they're fake. If they're claimed to have come from space, they are fake, because you can't have pictures from a fake medium.
And the point that I was in bringing up those photos was that like two independent, as like a check, like I did a check to see like if these are really taking a picture of the same Earth, then at that same instant in time and same location, the cloud formations should be the exact same. And the cloud formations were exactly the same.
That's called a formal logical fallacy known as affirming the consequent. If the cloud formations are the same from both the Himawari and whatever bullshit satellite is claimed to be in a fake region of outer space, then the Earth pictures must be the same. The Earth pictures are the same because they are both conforming to the same data. That's a formal logical fallacy known as affirming the consequent. If P, then Q, Q therefore P.
So if I look up Doppler radar images for the weather patterns in my local area, and they happen to match what is actually being shown, does that mean the Doppler radar pictures are images from space?
Oh no, I'm not. This just doesn't prove something. It just is a test that would show that there was a contradiction there. Like I'm looking for a possible contradiction. If the cloud formations were different, then I say, well, okay, then something's up here.
No.
That would
No, they're taken from a fake region. Don't worry about the cloud formations. They could just easily replicate them like I can replicate Narnia out in a region of Scotland and just say that I've gone through a wardrobe to get there. Like you're saying that you've gone into a region that can't exist to take these pictures. You still don't seem to be getting it. You're ignoring my debunking of the region the pictures have come from completely, Wiggles. You keep reasserting that you want to make your point regardless of the problems revolving around the region that they're taken from. You're just ignoring that, right, Wiggles? Moving on because it doesn't fit with your example.
I just posted a link in the chat that shows the video detailing the Himawari layers.
Well, it's a Mark Sargent video, so it's it's from a flat earther. Can't trust it.
Right, but we can trust the region that
we're the
defies the
ones that
second
don't
law
have
of
an open mind,
thermodynamics,
right?
can we? So we should just ignore all of our objections and trust that you can defy the second law of thermodynamics in this region no one's going to. You've not been there. You saying you've compared what the Himawari does, you haven't. You haven't been there. You don't know that space is real. You haven't got the vaguest clue. It defies the second law of thermodynamics, but you'll defend it to the hilt, or at this stage, just completely ignore that objection and move on to the pictures anyway, and start picking them apart, even though they can't possibly be real.
Well, let's address that that you think space violates the second law of thermodynamics.
Oh, really? What, like we've been trying to do for the last 50 minutes? Yeah, sure. Yeah, no worries. You can't have gas pressure without a container. The gas that we all breathe needs something to press on. It's pressure. That's what defines it. So at the top, Wiggles, of your belief in a vacuum, what's the gas pressure pressing on?
It's not pressing on anything.
Well, then it can't be here. It would dissipate into the vacuum. The gas would fill the space, Wiggles, 2019. If it's not pressing on anything, it's going to disperse, Wiggles.
Okay, yeah, so for clarity, Nathan, I'm going to now entertain the idea that you are saying.
It's not my idea that I am saying. It is. This is probably the 6th time I've said this on this show. This is not my idea. It does not need entertaining. It is a law of nature. Not my idea.
But Nathan, don't you think like all these professors would have picked up on this if there were a contradiction there? Don't you think all these professors who study the thermodynamics, entropy, wouldn't they have picked up on this?
They did. I've got a video out from an MIT professor that explains that if you have gas pressure next to a vacuum and you don't have a barrier, the gas fills the space. So it seems they do know this, Wiggles. It's a law. A natural law. Not my idea. Not something that needs entertaining. A natural law. The gas would fill the space.
Yeah, wouldn't all these professors realize that
yeah, they do! Are you deaf?
Modern science?
Are you deaf? There's plenty of lectures on the second law of thermodynamics.
Yeah, if the second law of thermodynamics implied space doesn't exist.
It does. That's precisely what it implies.
It implies space does exist?
No. That if you have a vacuum, a vast space, then the gas would fill that space. Unless, of course, there's something to press upon. There isn't, so we can't have space. That's the point. Well done, Wiggles. That's exactly what it implies. That natural law. Not my opinion, not what I think. That natural law that holds true always. That natural law would suggest that space is fake. So, do you have something that contravenes that law beyond your religious belief of space? Or is that your only proof that you can defy this natural law, your religious belief in space?
Okay, so Nathan, if the second law...
Seems like you're asking me a question. Do you have any proof beyond your religious belief about what Earth is and what space is that defies this natural law that holds true always?
Nathan, it's like you're stuck here. You can't get past where you're like stumbling over your own belief.
Well, it's not a belief. 7th time on this show. Repeat after me, Wiggles. This is not my belief. It is a natural law.
It's like you're stumbling over your own belief.
Not
like,
stumbling. Quite clear, quite concise, very slowly paced. For you, Wiggles. Not stumbling, Wiggles.
It wouldn't the professors pick up on that the second law
That seems like you're stuttering. Are you projecting your inability to hold a decent sentence together onto me, Wiggles? Because it seems that way. We have covered twice. I have a video from a professor at MIT who explains that if you have a vacuum and you have a gas pressure, precisely the setup we have in your religious belief about Earth, then the gas would fill the space. So when you ask me if the professors would have picked up on this already, I say yes. I have a demonstration of somebody explaining the law of thermodynamics and how if you have a vacuum next to a gas pressure and you remove the barrier that apparently we don't need in the heliocentric version of the world, then the gas would fill the space. So given that we still have gas here, I would assert that you can't have a vacuum of space, Wiggles. It defies that natural law discussed in detail by the professors that you are asking if they know this or not. Yes, Wiggles, they know that there is a natural law called the second law of thermodynamics, and it dictates that the gas would fill the space. I don't believe I stuttered or stammered once in that explanation, Wiggles. Maybe you'd like to respond to the very specific things that I actually said.
Yeah, so wouldn't the professor have also picked up on this?
Sorry.
He just explained to you the professors saying exactly the same thing. Nathan
Yeah, but like,
saying.
okay, or the other thing I should add, like, Nathan, do you think that the professor thinks that outer space exists?
I don't care. I have played his exact words on a video that explains how if you have a vacuum and a gas pressure next to each other and you remove the barrier, then the gas fills the space. That's what he explained. Did he quantify it in terms of outer space? No, Wiggles, I'm doing that. Did I go and ask the MIT professor? No, Wiggles, I got it from a video. Does it matter what the professor thinks? Not really. We're not criticising what the professor thinks. It's a natural law.
Well, he's trying to ping on you that because you're saying professor's saying that, therefore extrapolating that they are flat earthers. He's just trying to hang it on you. We don't care what professors think. We just follow the natural law. Hey, I have a question for you, Wiggles. You
Sure.
seem to be, and I've struggled with this as well. I've been in your place. There's an understanding that an atmosphere, if we're taking into consideration the gravity, is held by the gravity. Well, if that was true, wouldn't therefore you could repeat that experiment on the ground, having to do with gravity and differential pressure, where you can take a cylinder filled with atmospheric pressure and then expand it like a syringe, you know, have a cylinder inside a container and trying to expand it and hold it upright to the point where you have a condition inside the cylinder close to a vacuum. Close to, but you still have a pressure there, right? You like a very low pressure. Let's just say a very low pressure. So you're going to have to exert a lot of force to get that cylinder to that state, to expand, to lower the pressure. I mean, it requires a lot of power. I don't know how much you know about industrial vacuum pumps, but I suggest you look into it. But if you hold that cylinder upright, are you saying that at the top, on the inside of that cylinder, you're going to achieve vacuum, and at the bottom, you're going to have an atmospheric pressure?
If the cylinder is tall enough, yes.
Okay, let's say we shrink the cylinder to normal size. Let's say
hold on, I can't leave that out there.
Why
would
only
you,
if the
why would you
cylinder is
assert
tall
that if
enough?
it's big enough? Why would you say that that's not what the
Yeah.
MIT professor man seems to be saying, Wiggles? He didn't say
So
if I
if
have a
you're-
big enough container. He didn't qualify it in terms of size. He says take a container of a given size. He didn't say small or big, of any size, a given size. That's what he said. So you saying if it's a big enough cylinder, then you would have gas pressure not filling the container. That's just, what's the word? Bollocks.
And presumably, if you're closer to sea level, gravity is allegedly stronger at that point, right? So
Yes.
wouldn't you have an even more exaggerated effect?
no, but Wiggles thinks, and I've been at in his shoes, so to speak, that you cannot falsify the notion of the gravity holding the atmospheric pressure. And I'm saying you can. You can falsify it using that experiment. And I know you know, right now you're probably realizing that I'm correct in asserting that. I'm just walking you through the
conversation will continue if you are watching this show on either the Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley YouTube channels. However, for the meantime, I will bid farewell to the live audience in the Flat Earth Debate channel. Massive thank you to all of you for watching. Also, a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!